Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. On 6th March, Chief Minister Punjab Maryam Nawaz Sahiba visited Mayo Hospital, Lahore, and her visit has sparked a lot of discussion. As always, my goal is to analyze the situation objectively without any bias and to share my thoughts based on facts rather than opinions. Political leaders are role models for public. I have been regularly sharing my thoughts about leadership on my YouTube channel on personal development. In today's video, I'll be discussing what happened during her visit, how different stakeholders reacted, and what this means for the healthcare system. Let's take a balanced look at the events and their implications. On March 6, 2025, Punjab Chief Minister Maryam Nawaz Sahiba conducted an unannounced visit to Mayo Hospital in Lahore, aiming to assess the facility's conditions firsthand. During her inspection, she encountered significant issues, including medicine shortages, poor hygiene, and inadequate medical facilities. Patients expressed their grievances directly to the Chief Minister, highlighting the challenges they faced in receiving proper medical care. Moved by the plight of a young girl struggling to obtain medicine for her ailing mother, Maryam Nawaz took immediate action by ordering the removal of the hospital's medical superintendent, holding him accountable for the mismanagement. She emphasized her commitment to improving healthcare services and assured the public that negligent officials would face consequences. Remember, the medical superintendent has been one of the most reputable and honorable professor of orthopedics. He has got a good reputation of dedication to his profession and his expertise. This decisive intervention underscores the Chief Minister's dedication to addressing systemic issues with public healthcare institutions and ensuring that patients receive the necessary care without undue hardship. But the question is, was the behavior of Maryam Nawaz appropriate and desirable? In my opinion, Maryam Nawaz's visit to Mayo Hospital and her direct intervention highlight a proactive approach to governance, demonstrating responsiveness to public concerns. However, whether her behavior was appropriate and desirable depends on the perspective from which it is analyzed. For example, the positive aspects of this event. First, accountability and action. She directly engaged with patients and held hospital administration accountable, which is often lacking in public institutions. Second, public trust. Her intervention may reassure the public that government is serious about improving healthcare. And third is symbolic impact, and this is very important. Such visits signal a hands-on leadership approach, potentially motivating officials to improve service delivery. But there are many concerns and criticism, and this is not wrong. First, public confrontation of senior doctors. If her actions involved publicly scolding or humiliating a senior doctor, this could be seen as demoralizing for healthcare professionals who already work under challenging conditions. The ultimate responsibility does come on the government, not on the institution, of course. Second, sustainability of change. Removing an individual official may not address deeper systemic problems like resource shortages, lack of funding, and overburdened staff. This is a very, very valid point. And third, political optics versus policy reform. Some may view such visits as political stunts rather than a commitment to long term policy solutions. And in most of the cases, this is true. So, while her intent to improve healthcare is commendable, the approach should balance accountability with respect for professionals. Sustainable reforms, including better funding, staffing, and administrative improvements, would be more effective than abrupt personal changes. If the interaction with the senior doctor was disrespectful, it could harm morale in the medical community, which is already under significant stress. The second question is, was it a good example of leadership? And I would like to talk on this aspect in a deeper way. Maryam Nawaz's visit to Mayo Hospital can be seen as a mixed example of leadership. It demonstrated strong political will, but also raised questions about execution and professionalism. The good leadership aspects in this event is first, proactive and hands-on approach. She directly engaged with the public and identified real issues instead of relying on bureaucratic reports. Second, accountability and swift action. By addressing mismanagement immediately, she set a precedent that negligence in public service will not be tolerated. And the third is the symbol of empathy. Listening to patients and taking their concerns seriously showed a leader who is concerned about public welfare. But there are many questionable leadership aspects in this event. For example, first, lack of institutional process. Leadership is not just about quick decisions, but also about systemic reforms. Removing individuals without addressing root causes, that is, the funding, staffing, staffing shortages, administrative inefficiencies, may not lead to lasting improvements. Second, questionable aspect is potential disrespect to professionals. If the senior doctor was publicly humiliated, it could demoralize healthcare workers instead of encouraging them, and it has demoralized. Effective leadership balances accountability with respect for professionals working under tough conditions. We must appreciate this. And third is optics versus policy change. Leadership is about long-term solutions. One-time visits and dismissals may look strong, but do not necessarily fix the deeper issues in the healthcare system. So it was an example of decisive and bold leadership, But great leadership requires sustainable reforms, collaboration with professionals, and respect for institutional processes. If this visit leads to long-term improvements rather than just a political movement, then it can be seen as a positive leadership move, but I'm really worried that it will. The third important question is, what would have been the best and desirable approach in such scenario? In my opinion, in such scenario, a balanced and strategic approach would have been the most desirable. The best leadership response should ensure accountability without demoralizing professionals and lead to sustainable healthcare improvements. So the best and desirable approach has got many aspects. First, conduct a thorough inquiry instead of immediate dismissal. This was required, and this is required in such scenarios. Instead of instantly removing the senior doctor or medical superintendent, she could have ordered an independent inquiry into the hospital's mismanagement. This ensures that systemic issues are addressed rather than just holding one person responsible. Second point, engage with hospital staff respectfully. Instead of publicly confronting a senior doctor, she could have held a closed door meeting with the hospital administration. A respectful but firm discussion with healthcare professionals would show strong leadership without causing humiliation. And the third point is announce systemic reforms instead of just punitive actions. Leadership should go beyond firing individuals. This is my opinion. Announcing concrete reforms like increased funding, staff hiring, better medicine supply chains would ensure lasting change. The fourth point is create a long-term monitoring mechanism. Surprise visits should be followed by structural monitoring, setting up a healthcare task force or an oversight committee to track progress in public hospitals. The fifth point is empower healthcare workers instead of just penalizing them. Instead of a confrontational approach, offering support and resources, increased budget, better facilities, and incentives for doctors would motivate healthcare professionals to improve services. The sixth point is hold the bureaucracy and government equally accountable. This is very, very important. Many issues in public hospitals stem from poor policies, insufficient funding, and government inefficiencies. A real leader takes shared responsibility rather than blaming frontline workers alone. So, in conclusion, a firm but respectful approach that balances accountability, systemic reforms, and collaboration with healthcare professionals would have been the most effective and desirable leadership response. Such actions alone does not fix the system. Empowering and reforming it does. So the Maryam Nawaz visit to Mayo Hospital has certainly sparked discussions, and as we have seen, there are different perspectives on the event. Regardless of political views, what truly matters is the improvement of our healthcare system and the well-being of patients. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's keep the discussion constructive and focused on what really matters. Take care. Goodbye.